been mentioned several times. Time management and managing responsibilities and all those things. And these ladies are probably very, very busy. I'm sure you guys are as well. And you have your personal life or some semblance of it that you're attempting to create, along with all the work that you have to do. So I want to know how you guys are managing work-life balance or work-life harmony.
Harmony?
I call it work-life harmony because I believe if you're doing
She's
what you
arrived
love,
if she has harmony.
if you're doing what you love, they don't have to constantly be battling each other, right? And you know, Sheryl Sandberg says the most important career decision you ever make is who you marry, right? And I believe that that's true. And that I think that extends to our friends, that extends to everybody that's in the sphere of influence around us. We have to choose very carefully about the energy that we allow around us, the spirits, the things that people want for us, the expectation. There are some people that you will have in your life who are holding a space for you to step into your destiny, right? And do what they know you're intended to do and the vision you have for yourself. And there are other people who are like, girl, you know, my cousin tried that and she had to move back to Ohio.
Girl from the Midwest.
There's a lot of girls from the Midwest here. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. And so all of that to say that it's really important to have the right people around us, because I think that's an accelerator to success, but it's also an accelerator to finding the time for everything that you need to do. So
I was
Ashley.
just gonna say one of Lisa's thought-provoking questions that she gave us before we got to the panel was, what is something you learned the hard way? And I couldn't really think of it, but one of my responses was, I wish I had known that this is a lifestyle. That's what I was signing up for, was a lifestyle, not just a job. A career in entertainment is a lifestyle, 100%. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It doesn't matter if you work at AMC in exhibition, if you work in scripted, unscripted, sports, attorney, whoever you are, whatever you do, it is a lifestyle and it is a life choice. So, like Lisa said, you know, if you could do anything else, go do that, because you'll probably be happier and make more money. Like, for whatever you thought you were doing when you came in here today, if it's acting or writing or whatever, and you're like, yeah, I write like once a week. No, like do something else. You know what I mean? Because it literally should consume you, you know, in order for you to do a good job. And I think that you do have to carve out time and space for yourself, because, you know, you have to be your biggest cheerleader. You know, if you're not right, then you can't give to other people if you don't have your own stuff together. So you definitely have to take time out to do that, but it is definitely a lifestyle, and I wish I had known that more before I think I would have approached it a little bit differently. No regrets, and I like where I'm at right now, but definitely I wish I had walked in with my eyes wide open.
So the ladies in the center are married. Got men folks. Just one. Okay. All right. All right. The lady in the center is married. So let's talk about that. How does that work?
Well, you know, interestingly enough, I mean, it's a young marriage. It's 4 years. 4 years. And I'm 42. And it's
Black, not quack. Y'all better.
But I'm saying that in this room because it's again that focus, that head down, and yeah, I mean I dated people and that kind of thing, but it took this long before I really, oh yeah, there's this other part of life, and that he and I actually saw each other, it happened to be someone I knew probably 8 years, just through different people. We never hung out or anything, but there's so much more, to that story that has to do with the career. The career set me on a later path, I mean, in terms of finding a relationship, which happens to be the biggest blessing in the world, and I'm glad, because I've had the 6-year boyfriend, I've had that, thank God, it's God's plan and not yours, right? That got me ready for that, the man that's in my my life now. But balance, work-life balance, right? Stay relevant. I literally schedule. We got date night, and we moved my mom here a couple of years ago, and we lost my dad. Mom, Wednesday nights, and then Sunday for church and brunch. I literally had my calendar, I put them on my Outlook calendar, and I don't touch them when I can help it. I don't touch it. I have to schedule my time, and that sounds kind of sad, but it's my truth and my reality, and I stick to it. So when folks ask me things, I don't know, I'm gonna check my calendar, and I don't even touch it. I act like those are, not to be messed with, to listen to like license or
I think that's important, is having the right tools. I'm the same way, and people have said, like, you're anal, you're a worker hard. I do not care, because I don't forget stuff, because I write everything down. Why? Because my brain is like craziness. There's no way. If somebody's like, oh, we're going to meet Thursday at 3. I'm like, if it's not on paper, it's not happening. Because I will forget, and you'll be there, and I'm like, oh, we were supposed to do that. I'm so sorry. So, like, I think it's important to form that habit, though, because even before I had a full calendar and deals and stuff to do, I had the habit of being organized like that and setting reminders and doing those things, because once the calendar does fill up, you don't have to try to figure out how to manage your chaos. You already have a process for it. And I do the same thing for even exercise. Like,
Absolutely.
I sit down on Sunday. I will exercise Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of this week, because that's when I have time. And Nicole's like showing everybody up. She just finished cycling like 80 million miles. So like, to the point of self-care, how have you found time to train, to do exercise, all that kind of stuff?
Well, no, it's tough. I agree with what everyone has said. Work-life balance, it's very, very hard, because this career path, it requires so much. It's like, it becomes your social, it becomes something you do after work. It's just, you're just dedicated because you're so passionate about what you're doing. But I'm training for something called the AIDS Life Cycle, and that's basically a 545-mile bike ride from San Francisco to Los Angeles. And so that's kind of how so I started training about 2 months ago, but even that, I had to like actually carve out time in my schedule so that I can make time to like train appropriately. Because on Saturdays we're riding 50 miles, on Sunday we're riding like 70 miles, and that takes like 4 or 5 hours out of your day. That's 4 or 5 hours that I'm not like having brunch with someone or having coffee with someone or like working on a personal project or actually just working, period. So it does take time to find that work-life balance, but now that I've found it, it's getting better. But it does take time. It's a balancing act, but no matter what you want to do, you just have to go for it. You put everything into it, and so that alone is time consuming.
I think the point is you got to pay attention to it. You have to, like, when I got promoted the first time, then literally the words my mentor said was, say goodbye to your personal life. That's what she said, say goodbye to it. And she was right. And I said goodbye to it for a long time. Because current program requires you to work the entire day and then go home and work the entire night. Because all of your reading gets done at night. There's no time to read during the day because you're doing the other part of your job. So for a long time, I didn't pay, the advice was, move the dating and the social life over here. There are very few black women who do this job. You're very lucky that you have this job. So put your head down and do it. And so I looked up and years had gone by. So my advice to you is that if you want to be married, if you want to be married, if you want to have kids, make the time to socialize, make the time to date, make the time to meet people. Don't just work, because you will look up and like it will have passed you by, and then you're trying to figure out, and then all of a sudden you're panicking and you're trying to figure out, and that's if you want a family. If you don't want that, there's no issue with that. But you have to find the kind of person in your life who understands. Like, a lot of men would hear my schedule and they'd be like, that's interesting. When you're gonna have time for me, and we're gonna have time for these kids that we might have. And once they got a sense of what the schedule was, it would be like bye-bye. So you have to find somebody who understands what you do. But the point is you if you want these things, you have to make the time to do it. Otherwise, you'll look up and like 10 years will have gone by and you'll be like, what?
So I'll add one other thing. I mean, I think what we're all saying here, you have to make a decision to make it a priority. I think it took me a while to understand and really make self-care a priority. But now it's just a part of my life. So as an entrepreneur, you know, I can't call in sick. I am my boss. So I eat it, I kill it, I market it, and if I call in sick and take a day off, then that check is not coming to my household. So I'm always constantly running the clock. So if I take an hour, and this is my hour of meditation, my schedule, I schedule my exercise, I schedule my meditation, I schedule my yoga. But I know how I have to make that up. So if it's 2 a.m. and I have to take that hour, it's what it is. But at the same time, I think it's being okay to make the decision. And so a quick story, 6 months, probably around June, July, when Pastor about revisiting the vision, something said, I need to go away. I realized that these next 6 months, the end of 2013 is really important, there's some things, but if I keep going at this pace, I'm not going to make it. So I was like, I'm going to Thailand and Cambodia for 2.5 weeks. I'm out. Eat, pray. Heavy love was eat, pray. It wasn't convenient. I was consulting with Procter & Gamble, which is one of the largest brands. I had a lot of stuff going on. But I made in my mind, made a decision I was going to go. Here's the time I made sure all my clients were okay, made sure everything. And the first week I was there, I worked. But I worked, and then I went on the beach. And I worked, and I was a day ahead. So actually, I was more productive. And now with technology, you can work anywhere. And honestly, on December 16th, I'm taking off again. And I'm going to be in London for the rest of December. And I'm like, hey, this is what you have to, because in my life, I've realized I need to be global. I need to have a global footprint. I need to have different perspectives so I can be more creative, so I can bring more into my purpose. And so this has become my decision. So I've made it a part of my lifestyle, to the points. And then you align things and you schedule. So I'm not taking off and saying, bye guys, December 16th, don't call me. No, I got work to do. I got to get ready for 2014, but it's just making that decision and making the priority. And you know what? I got back from Thailand and everything was okay. And everything kept moving. But I did everything I needed to do. They could reach me. I was there. It was fine when some things happened, but I did what I was supposed to do. And thank God for Skype and everything else. People can reach you anywhere now. So
I think that's an important point about keeping your inspiration close, because this is what we do is so hard. Like there's a virtue that I believe in storytelling, not to get all zen and crunchy on you guys, but I really do believe there's like something virtuous about telling stories, because going back to cavemen and hieroglyphics on the wall, that's how we've always communicated and shared information, is through stories. So that's like a noble thing to do. But you can get caught up in the grind and trying to get the meeting and trying to get stuff done and trying to get to the next level, that you kind of forget why you're doing it in the first place. And there really has to be that balance of consuming things that inspire you and then pushing stuff out and producing and producing and producing. It's so easy to watch everybody else kind of doing their thing that you're just sitting by watching the parade and you're not a part of the parade and getting active in that. So it's really important